I would like to follow up my seminary research with an explanation as to why Catholic universities don't actually promote Catholicism. Now, there are a small group of Catholic universities that actually are Catholic and promote Catholicism. I think they're listed on the Newman Guide, and there's not very many of them. And if you look across the United States, there are a number of universities that call themselves Catholic, but they dissent from the faith. So they're on the New Ways Ministry list of LGBT-friendly universities. It's ridiculous that so many of these universities call themselves Catholic, yet they dissent from Catholicism. And there's an explanation as to why. It comes down to the Land O'Lakes Statement. It was drafted up by a bunch of priests who worked at universities. The meeting took place at Land O'Lakes, Wisconsin, which is why it's called the Land O'Lakes Statement. And I'm just going to read you a few excerpts from the Land O'Lakes Statement. At the opening statement, it says, "The group clearly recognized that the presence of an active participation by persons who are not Catholics in the Catholic university community are most desirable and indeed even necessary to bring authentic universality to the Catholic university itself. Furthermore, this group believes that those who are not Catholics may find in the Catholic university not only a warm welcome, but notable distinctive benefits for themselves." So I'm going to move on to point number 1. The Catholic University today must be a university in the full modern sense of the word, with a strong commitment to and concern for academic excellence. To perform its teaching and research functions effectively, the Catholic University must have a true autonomy and academic freedom in the face of authority of whatever kind, lay or clerical, external to the academic community itself. So what they are saying is the university needs to embrace the modern world. It needs to have autonomy, which is independence from any bishop or lay board, so that it can fulfill whatever goals it has. So right off the bat, they're saying that the Catholic faith is not a foundation upon which to build your academic ideas. But if you look at it from a Catholic perspective, like an actual Catholic perspective, the Catholic faith should be the basis for everything. Your education, your politics, your life decisions. Your Catholic faith should play a part in every single thing you do. So by separating and declaring independence from the establishment of the Catholic Church, they were effectively declaring that they had no interest in using the ideas of Catholicism, and they were starting at the secular viewpoint and then maybe trying to integrate Catholic ideas later. And this is where things drastically declined in terms of Catholic education in the United States. Now, this statement was drafted in 1967, so it was right around the time when the liturgy was drastically changing, and everyone had different ideas of what needed to happen. It was the spirit of Vatican II embracing the modern world. Under point number 4, there's a quote here. It says, "There must be no theological or philosophical imperialism. All scientific and disciplinary methods and methodologies must be given due honor and respect." So basically, your Catholic faith should not influence your education or your research. And as Catholics, this is an absolute disgrace, and it should have been rejected by everyone. Moving on to point number 9, it says, "The students will be able to participate in and contribute to a variety of liturgical functions, at best creatively, contemporary, and experimental." I guess, being that this was in 1967, they certainly had experimental liturgies. So this was kind of going with the spirit of the 60s and the spirit of Vatican II, when you experiment with the new liturgy and see what you like and see what you don't like. So this was drafted up by the president of Notre Dame, Father Theodore Hesburgh. He was a known dissenter of Catholicism for many years. And if you look through the list of the participants in this Land O'Lakes agreement, you will see that a lot of them are Jesuits. You can take a look at the universities: Georgetown, Boston College, Catholic University of America, of course, a bunch from Notre Dame. And there's no surprise here. Those universities have been known to dissent from the Catholic faith. But one name stands out: Reverend Theodore McCarrick. Yes, he was involved with this Land O'Lakes agreement. which declared the university's autonomy from the Catholic hierarchy. Now, and if you look at Catholic universities today, like I said, a lot of them are dissenters from the Catholic faith, and they have autonomy because of this statement partially. I think there have been other developments along the way which kind of tried to merge the Catholic universities with, the bishops, or at least bring them closer together. So the Newman Guide has a list of 15 Catholic colleges in the United States that are faithful to the Catholic faith. It's crazy. Only 15 out of, I think probably hundreds of colleges that call themselves Catholic across the United States actually agree with the Catholic faith. This is unacceptable. Every single bishop should be calling out these universities and saying, remove Catholicism from your name, and if you're named after a saint, please rename your university because you're disrespecting the saint by disrespecting the Catholic faith. There's no exceptions for this. This is pathetic. By taking a look at this Land O'Lakes statement, it was signed by McCarrick. What else do you need? You need to get back to Catholicism as a Catholic university. Now, the problem with these Catholic universities is many of them are extremely expensive to attend. But if someone's considering attending a Catholic university, it has to be one of these 15 universities. Otherwise, you're wasting your money to get heretical education. That's what it comes down to. Now, I went to a public university, a state university, but the school did not teach Catholicism in any way. But in a state university, you are better off because you know that you're not being presented Catholicism. In one of these heretical Catholic universities, you might be presented Catholicism, but it's going to be false theology. So that's what's particularly dangerous about these universities that call themselves Catholic, but they dissent from the Catholic faith, is that people go in there thinking that they're learning Catholicism, but they're actually learning heresy. So I'm going to post my references down below, and hopefully you learned a little bit about why Catholic universities, why so many of them dissent from Catholicism.